Coach, I appreciate it, man. I'm fired up to be here. I've tuned in to probably 50 Zoom conferences since COVID-19 hit, and it could have been a super dark time for us as coaches, guys that like to be out, be with our kids, and be around our guys, coaching, feeling, doing all that good stuff. I'm super encouraged by the positivity, the adaptability of our coaching community across the country. It's been super encouraging to see, and uplifting and motivating for me. It inspires me as a young coach to see all you guys. I'm continuing to band together, and I'm just proud to join in, and proud to be a part today. A little bit about me, like Coach said, starting back. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. I was born and raised here. I came out of Hewitt-Trussville and went to Vanderbilt. I played fullback. There, got to block for a bunch of special dudes that are playing in the league still now, and got to learn and meet and connect with a lot of new people, a lot of great people that I continue to stay in touch with today. And that led me on. I went to Vandy and started my freshman season as a fullback, and I actually ended up with a career and neck injury that led me into coaching. Once I felt that the pain and anguish of I don't have the game anymore. What am I going to do? I realized immediately, this is my calling. This is where I'm led to be, and then this is what I want to do. So from there, I started as a student assistant at Vandy. I coached our fullbacks for a year, and kept moving on, and ended up graduating in 3 years. Helping the spring at Hewitt-Trussville back at home, where I'm originally from, and now I've been at EC for a little over a year. Got hired as a safeties coach and ended up moving over to running backs. And this past off season, I took over our strength program. So that's something, that I correlate a lot with running back play, and I try to bring it into play as much as we can. Another thing that I'm on here for is, I'm super thankful for the people, all the ones that have been on here, and the ones that have come, through my life at certain times, that have poured into me and influenced me and given me the tools that give me the ability to present to you and build information and build knowledge, and build a clean knowledge base around how to coach the running back. And what I'm going to talk about today, is coaching the running back from the ground up. I titled it that because, I believe in the simple, the little details, of running back play that really make the back go and make back successful. So that's a little graphic. That's the guys we brought in this year. These are our two returners right here. This is the guy right here. He's one of our guys. He started for us last year. Led the team in rushing. Had a great year. Was a JUCO All-American. We signed 5 this year. So you see we take pride in running the ball. We're fired up about these 5 guys we brought in, and I think with this running back room is going to be great. We're gonna develop some great habits and do some great things with these guys. This is my contact info. I'll flash it again at the end for you guys that want it. I did not include a lot of video today because, in my experience with Zoom, it's been super choppy. I gave you guys a visual rather than video. Just a little draw up, a markup for you guys with a couple drills. But I did not show video. So this is my contact if you do. If you want to see video, also we're always evaluating talent. With JUCO now in Mississippi, we get 10 out-of-state players. So, it's super tough. We do love to evaluate every single player, though, and give every single player a chance, to be one of those 10. So whatever it is, I'm always open to reaching out and connecting with new guys and new coaches, and whatever that be about, I'm open. My why, my why is to impact players. You see my guys right here, I tell my guys every time, we have an intro meeting when they get in, and, I'm spilling some of this stuff to them. But, the main thing I'm emphasizing to them is, right now at this age, man, I'm not married. I don't have kids. I don't have any dependents. You guys are my family. And, I really take pride in making them feel that. It's real easy to talk about it and, and say this and that. But when you really get down to it, when was the last time, you checked up on your guys and asked how they were doing? And it's not just a conversation of, are you working out? How's your online class going or whatnot? It's calling them up and saying, how you doing, man? Is everything okay? Is there anything I can do? whatever that be in your own personality, I encourage you to, you use the word love with your players. I think love is the strongest force in the universe. Um, and this is my why, my guys, the people that are around me, and making them better, and seeing them go on and do great things. So just for my guys, especially in JUCO, I like to some good advice I got when I first started coaching was um, almost coach your guys like you're coaching a kindergartner. Be very basic, be very simple, and use basic progression. So what I tell our guys a running back is an elite athlete that possesses a multitude of skills such as speed, strength, and power, translating to physically dominant performances in every game. So, as a strength coach, I like to include the three big ones: speed, strength, and power. Um, so I like to emphasize, all right, we take these things and we translate them to the field. We take it from the weight room to the field, and that translation is one of the biggest things I want to see happen. That's what I love about the weight room is you can see, the transition of these guys working on the little details of each lift, and that translating into, how they bend and how their base looks, and, how they come through their hips and all that stuff. It relates now. And for me, telling these guys this, I think it overemphasizes, these three characteristics of the running back. I think it's huge, to understand that, but also to translate it into the game. And obviously we all know what a running back is, but like I said, I want to make my guys understand, make them take pride in what they're doing and what we're teaching. So this is a little acronym I came up with. I'm big on acronyms. I think it is good for guys to have a picture, of what a word means, or take something from that word. And a word I use a lot is elite. I was introduced to that word, and it's stuck with me for a while now, and I've always used it. I see elite in terms of greatness plus one. We take that greatness aspect and we add to it. So when we talk about elite and elite people, elite athletes, elite coaches, elite academics, whatever it be, they understand that every little inch takes effort. So when we talk in terms of elite, I'm telling my guys every little inch takes effort. So whether that be walking to class, what you eat, what you put in your body, what you listen to, what you talk about, all those little things, they take effort, and we have to make sure that they align with our goals. So, whether that applies, on the field, in the class, like I said, anywhere, it can always apply. And, for my guys, like I said, we want to lay everything out and make sure, everything is clearly defined for them. So as we're teaching and as we're going through, our daily routine, our daily grind, they're picking up everything I'm saying. They understand exactly what I'm saying. So for me, effort, it means focus, intent, and passion. Those three things drive effort. A lot of times you'll tell a guy, give me effort, and they'll run down there on kickoff like, a bull in a china shop. But if we can understand, how to direct that effort and how to control that effort, we'll be just fine. And so like I said, being elite, we want to put effort in everything we do. That's focus, intent, and passion. And in terms of, the person to player, development that we're doing, this is something that our head coach, Ken Karcher, he takes pride in is our 4 phases of development. I tell our guys, you're more than a player, you're more than an athlete. So, when you take off those shoulder pads and you get in the shower and you walk over to class, now you're still the same person, right? You may look a little different from the visual, but you're still the same person. And how can we carry those habits to every aspect of life that we walk into? So, we break them down into 4 phases. The first being physical. Obviously, I'm a weight room guy, so we're developing constantly in there, and that's something that I take pride in is our guys doing the little details and the biomechanics and all that good stuff the right way, and doing it fundamentally. The physical development is one of the biggest we're going to see, and it's probably the most time we're going to spend with our guys inside of that physical development range. But the other 3, man, the biggest 3, when we talk about being an elite person, we want to develop elite people. And, those 3 are intellectually, spiritually, and socially. And, first thing, I want to talk about the social development. And, I think it's critical right now with the time we're in, man, is because as coaches, we're often, the first line of defense and the last line of defense. So with our guys, man, if we can develop them to understand, how their emotions are going to work, how they're going to react when they're put in certain situations, and ultimately how to handle that situation. Just like what's going on now, man. I do recognize that there's a problem in our country. There's supreme injustice, and we need change. But the first way to fix a problem is recognizing that we have a problem. And these are conversations that we should be having with our guys. The due date for these conversations is way past time. Being a white male, and a majority of our players are players that are African American or people of color. So we have to understand, like I said, we're the first line of defense and the last line of defense. And the way we demonstrate, these qualities and these responses is how our players are going to react. That's what they're going to demonstrate, is what they see. So, I take pride in developing my players outside of the field, outside of the weight room. I take pride in spending time with them. I actually had the chance last season to be our academic advisor. And I got to hit a huge piece of this intellectual development. And, that was also something that I put a lot of work into, put a lot of time into, because, our head coach even told me one time, I thought this was really cool. It sounds super cliche, but he told me, even if this kid can't make it, if you're teaching this kid how to send a proper email with proper grammar and proper email etiquette, you're winning. You're doing something for the kid. You're giving him something to carry on with him. So, I think as a coach, it's our responsibility to go beyond what we're expected in teaching ball and teaching all these other things. My philosophy, is something that I'm telling my guys, and what I'm kind of feeding to them every day is, the higher your energy level, the more efficient your body, and the more efficient your body, the better you feel, and the more you use your talent to produce outstanding results. And this, I always talk about juice. I'm always talking about bring some energy, bring some juice, and I think this really sends it home for our guys, and understanding that, it's not fake juice, all right, but you can trick your body into producing, better results by, being mentally locked in and mentally understanding, the what it requires of you, and how can I do more than what is required of me. So for us, this is something, that hangs in our room that we're gonna talk about often. I'm a very, I like to have a long-term vision, understanding, where we're heading, and how we make that happen every day. So, these are things we talk about, throughout every phase of our development and our daily process. One thing I really want to talk about here is our attitude and mentality standards. So, I asked 3 things of them in terms of their attitude and mentality is, love your teammates. Just like we talked about, man. Love is the most powerful force on the universe. You can't drive out hate with hate. So, through conflict on our team, through competition, we're going to love our teammates, and we're going to show, the ultimate respect to our brother, that, we have to consider and create an environment of, this is family. We spend a lot of time together. We go through blood, sweat, tears. We hit the trenches together. So the bond we create, it has to be family. And that's part on us as coaches, to force them to be in, to be in competition and to really grind their gears together. Because the diamonds are made by pressure. We were trying to create diamonds, and we have to apply pressure to those guys. The next is, the group, or the team, the unit. It's our first priority. So within our room, we have to make sure that we're putting each other first. We're making sure that, even though this might not look great on me, it's for the best of the team. I may not start this game. We may be using 2 backs this game. Whatever it be, we have to understand that, we're, as coaches and players, we're promoting, unity and what's best for the team. We're trying to win football games. So we have to get our guys to understand, that aspect of, we have to put the team first, and we're going to make decisions based on that, and that only. So, and the next, guys, is be the thermostat, not the thermometer. I like to talk to my guys about the value you bring to a room, the value you bring to the classroom, the value you bring to the meeting room, the value you bring to practice. Whatever it be, I ask them, to feed their environment and not be soaked in to that environment. Ask them, to walk into a room and bring value to it. We'll talk a little bit about that more as we get into some of our meeting stuff. But, I ask them to bring value into every room they walk into. So in terms of meeting with our guys, man, obviously, as every team in the country feels like, man, we're super limited in our meeting time. If it was up to me, I'd choose hours and hours more, but that's not the way it always goes. We're limited, and we have to be super efficient. One, in our communication, two, in the way we prepare. So what I'm telling them is when we show up to a meeting, we're early, we're prepared, we're professional, and we have great focus. To be the best running back core in the NJCAA, we have to have the best mental focus in the NJCAA. We got to take it from the class to the grass. So, it starts right here in meetings. The first thing I ask them, is to be prepared and professional. That doesn't always mean, like it says on number 2, having your playbook, having your pencil, your pen. That doesn't always mean that. It means being mentally prepared and understanding, what are we going to do today? I feel like it's my responsibility to the day before almost lead into what we're going to be covering the next day, or what we're going to be going over, what I'm going to be teaching them. So they have time to go home and make sure they understand a piece of that before we walk in and install whatever is a full play, whether we go over a full drill, whatever it is, they have time to go over and understand it. So making sure they're prepared and professional, professional being the way they communicate, the way they respond. I ask them to respond, one, with confidence, an uplifted voice, and using our terminology, because, that's important. As I've grown as a coach, every year more and more I understand the importance of our terminology, of our buzzwords, and you'll see me using some here that I like to use a lot, that are my kind of twist on things, and ways I found to be effective with our guys. And the last is, like I said, leave the room better than you left it. Bring value to the room. A lot of guys want to talk about picking up a piece of trash and pushing your chair, and that is what we expect again. But the way you approach a room is the value you bring to it. We want to be peer coaching. We want to be engaged with our teammates, and making sure they know what I know and I know what they know. So we're all building each other up and learning together. The next is practice standards, and something I try to promote. Inside our room is asking tough questions. Asking those guys, how do we practice? Do we practice like we're trying to win a championship? Do we practice like the best group on the field? And do we have the habits of a champion? Those are the things, I'm challenging my guys on daily, whether that's in the weight room, whether that's, our running back group, whoever it is, I'm challenging them to up their standard every single day. Something I heard a while back was, every day you should try to up the standard from the next day. If you can do that, you're gonna have continued growth and continued success. A couple things I want to hit on about practice. I take pride in us being the first group on the field every day. I think time put in directly applies to success. So with that goes, we have to attack the field. Whether there's nobody else out there, it's just us, no managers, no coaches. It's just us as running backs. We still take the field the same way we do every time, because it sets the tempo. We're going to attack the field, and we're going to set the tempo for the rest of practice we're about to have. And also carry that over from meetings. It comes straight out from meetings. We attack the field, and we have a great practice. The next, we're not going to lose interpositional drills. That's the standard. When we do crossover periods with, whether it be the linebackers or DBs or whatever it is, the standard is to win every time. That's what we're telling them. We're going over there to win. We're obviously going over to get better and improve, but the biggest way, the most effective way to improve is competition. So we're going to go in there and compete. We're going to be physical and violent, and we're going to grind those gears. Like we said, we're going to make each other better, but we're not going to lose. That's the mindset we have to have. Throughout every drill, everything we do, that there has to be a mindset of competition. I'm not losing this other position group, whatever it be. We're going to take over this drill and we're going to win it. And the last one being, even in a walkthrough, we talk about meetings, we talk about practice, but we never mention walkthrough, that kind of gray area. The practice expectation, the meeting expectation, it holds true in walkthrough. I feel like it's a combination of meeting and practice. So we hold the same standard in a walkthrough. You're going to be locked in, you're going to be prepared, and you're going to be professional. So we hold these standards for practice and meetings. I think it works great for us. Making sure we communicate the standard of what we do and how we do it, and upholding it every day is the biggest thing. It's real easy to let your standards slip. Especially with some of your better guys. Now you feel like you can loosen up on them because they've done this and that. Well, the standard is supposed to be set high, and those other guys are watching now, even if they're not playing whether they haven't played a snap, they're playing special teams, or whatever it is. They're looking, they're watching to make sure me as a coach, I uphold my standard. And so I want to demonstrate that for them, and that, we're all equal. We're all working the same. We're all trying to get to the same place, and the standard stays the same for all of us. So I kind of use this saying as complete backs. So I term that by three things. It's running with the football, catching the football, and blocking for the football. Those three things are critical. Those are our responsibilities within our offense. This year with us, we're going to really emphasize that number two, catching the football out of the backfield. We have a very versatile back, a very versatile few backs, matter of fact, and we really want to emphasize, getting our running back involved in our passing game, getting him involved in our passing concepts, and ultimately putting the ball in playmakers' hands. So the first, for me, like I said, I want to be very detailed, lay out everything for my guys so they can understand, how I evaluate, what I expect, and what I want them to be ultimately as a ball runner, as a running back. These are also things. I try to recruit on. I try to look for when I recruit. These are five, critical aspects of running back play. And the first being, when we're running the ball, I got to see your attitude. I need to see, a clear demeanor when you run. Understanding that we're going to score a touchdown or first down every play. I should see that in your demeanor. I should see it in the way you run. I see it in the way you move, way you talk, act, etc. All right. The second is being decisive. Since I was young here, talking about running back play, I've heard guys say, it's better to be decisive than be right. Whether that means, just because we say it's going to be an A-gap run, it's an A-gap run, or it's a puncture cut, it's a puncture. It's not always going to work out that way. But be decisive. Get 1 yard now if you have to, rather than dancing around the heels of the offensive tackle and maybe losing a yard, maybe getting zero. It's our responsibility to get the ball at least back to the line of scrimmage, no matter what happens. So. Being decisive is a critical aspect of that. Pad level and body lean, it's also a critical aspect of running the football. We want to give the defender less surface area to attack, less to grab onto, and ultimately number four, we want to have the ball in the outside arm so we can continue to use that off arm, and again, give the defender less surface area to attack my football. Like we're going to talk about here in a minute. In terms of ball security, that's our baby. We got to protect it at all costs. And, we got to keep it in the arm away from the defender. And like I said, it's also a great tool to use your outside arm and your offhand moves. And the fifth is finishing in a dominant position, putting in the second and third effort. And, what I tell my guys with this piece, is when you're finishing a run, if you're going to get tackled, finish belly down. That's our dominant position, is belly down. We always want to finish forward. You can gain hundreds of yards in a season, depending on how many carries you get, excuse me, based on just falling forward. You see guys like Derrick Henry with the Titans, going back, watching him at Alabama, and the way he fell forward, for 3-4 yards as a 6'3" back is impressive, and it wins games. It produces, efficient offense for us. So that's something we want to do, and these are the 5 ways we kind of incorporate, our culture and our fundamentals into running the football. So inside of that is ball security, like we said. I'm telling those guys that the ball's your baby, protect it at all costs. A couple of my buzzwords that I use is lock and load, something I've carried with me since day one of coaching, is lock and load. And wrist above elbow. So when we talk in terms of wrist above the elbow, we want to emphasize that wrist being directly above the elbow. So you naturally, like you would hold a ball, your elbow is going to be a little out, right? As you see in the 5 points of pressure, we want to emphasize that rib cage contact. So I've heard a few guys reference it as close the back door. We want to make sure that elbow's tightly attached to that rib cage, and we have that ball secured. My 5 points of pressure, I've heard probably 100 different ways to explain it, but the way I see it, the way I believe, the first point of pressure is the fingers. I consider the eagle claw. All right, these 2 front fingers, we're putting them right around the point of the football, attaching them securely, making sure we have every bit of grip we can get. The second is the wrist. We always want that wrist contact to make sure we have a full grip with our hand on the football. The third is our forearm going down the arm. The fourth is our bicep. All right, it's going to sit on the other side of the football. And now for the fifth point of pressure, We're going to take that elbow and we're going to attach it tightly to our rib cage. All right. And it's not going to leave that rib cage. It's going to be attached to the rib cage the whole time. And I do add a 6 point of pressure, in traffic when we're getting ready to make contact. I tell them to grab their watch, grab their watch. It's a 6 point of pressure. When I pull that elbow in, pull that wrist in, make sure that ball's tight. And like we said, give the defender less surface area on that ball, to make sure that we protect it and we protect our baby. Something I emphasize, particularly in practice, is our ball rule. I call it a ball rule. We always want to make sure, we hand the ball off. We never let it touch the ground. That's taking pride in our ball security and our baby. And like it says here, the ball is the program. Ball security is job security, and we got to make sure that we protect that at all costs. Within that, this is something that we use when I was at Vandy. I took it along with me. Coach Andy Ludwig and Coach Blakeney did a great job of emphasizing this and making sure we knew, when we were vulnerable with the football, when we put that football in jeopardy. So this is something I'm carrying with me now. I'm carrying with me day to day inside my room. And so what this means, a flag is when I can see, on film, this football sticking out the back. Obviously, his elbow is not attached to his rib cage, so that's considered one flag. All right. As we go through the week, there'll be guys that are struggling now. That especially week 1 and 2 in camp, there's going to be guys that have maybe 1 or 2 points of pressure, and that's an issue for us now. That's an issue that will directly affect playing time. That'll directly affect trust, especially when you put that ball on the ground. So we emphasize, a flag system. And what you see here is JD run the football, and he's obviously, displaying what I would call a flag. And so we go through the week, and let's say a guy gets 3 flags. He gets one on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Thursday we come into meetings. All right, I hand him 2 balls, and he does a wall sit. I call them ball sits. I'm not a big proponent of punishment work or anything, but when it comes to ball security, guys, this is a non-negotiable for me. This is something we got to be 100% with. We got to be A1 at this, all the time. So for me, this, like I said, it's a non-negotiable, and we will incorporate work, to earn those flags back, which are our ball sits. And if I have a guy that's really struggling, that just can't seem to get it, I'll tell him to take 2. So we'll go through some of these drills I'll show you, and I'll tell him to take 2, which means take 2 balls. And until I tell you otherwise, you're walking around with 2 balls. You're doing every drill with 2 balls, whether that be our ball security drills, whether it be a change of direction drill. I expect to see you with 2 balls with all 5 points of pressure on both balls. So this is something I love, man, that I think, as serious as we take this, I think it can kind of be interesting, kind of be fun for our guys to compete in this realm and make sure, they're protecting that football. Next, I won't spend too much time on this, guys. Just more talking about run game, but I do want to talk about, like I said, we're gonna get into a lot more route running and pass catching with our backs, and I want to make sure they understand, the basic details, the minute details of catching the football, and the first being their head and eyes. I want to see urgency with them. At the top of the route, I'm teaching something right now that that I just learned. It's called I tell them to stripe them. Stripe. We want to show our stripe in the opposite direction and push out towards our route. The second being lay hands. All right, we want to pump our hands in our route until we get to the catch, and then we want to extend our hands, positioning our body between the ball and the defender with great catch extension, and making sure we secure that ball, and 2, we give the defender 0% chance to affect that throw. The fourth being hand placement. Something I love that our receivers coach Fosterman talks about. When it's a high ball, he wants their thumbs to be touching, and when it's a low ball below the waist, he expects their pinkies to be touching. So that's something that we emphasize with our guys, and across the offensive unit, we try to teach and get them to understand. It's a simple cue for them when catching the football, and we do practice it. We will go out pre-practice, and I'll throw them low balls, I'll throw them high balls, whether that be head on, whether that be from the side, and making sure that they're using the fundamentals of hand placement. And the fifth being lock and load, like we talked about, ball security, protecting the football, snatching it right to the tuck, seeing it into the tuck, and we're rolling, and we're getting north and south. And something also our receivers coach says so often is, we catch with our eyes. We catch with our eyes. So look that ball all the way in, right into the hands. I tell them to attack the white stripe on the football. all right, and look it into the tuck and get vertical. So with blocking, mainly this applies to us in pass pro most of the time. We don't do a whole lot of two back, fullback stuff. Unfortunately, as a fullback, but the first thing for me when we're blocking is your eyes. Where are your eyes? A lot of times in pass pro, for me, I'm telling them, inside pec, inside pec. We can find a lot of cues off their inside pec, off the defender's inside pec. So that's where I expect their eyes to be, and I expect their leverage to be pad under pad, eyes under chin. Obviously, we always want great pad level and body lean, but here we want to be ready, our hips cool, ready to strike, ready to come through the defender. And then third being arms, with that strike I talked about, we have to be inside the framework with our hands and elbows. We have to be inside the framework, getting a great strike within their pecs, right around the interior shoulder area. That should be the widest we should be. The fourth is feet. All right, is our base. We want them shoulder width apart and balanced. That's as simple as we can get. We teach more knee bend and waist bend, obviously, in an athletic position. The fifth, like I said, I want them to finish in a dominant position with everything they do. Here in pass pro, a dominant position is a win. Is you finishing, between the defender and the quarterback. That's a win. In the run blocking game, obviously we want to finish on top of our man, driving our knees, pounding our feet, and playing through the whistle, man. That's a huge, reflection of the culture you have is how they play through the whistle and how they play for whatever it is, 4 to 5 seconds, down to down, snap to snap. We want to make sure they're playing all 5 seconds and making sure they give everything they can, whether it be running with the ball, catching the ball, or blocking for the ball. So this is something that I love right here, man. I'm a huge evaluator. I'm a huge proponent of giving feedback on everything. So you see, I already have my practice one grade sheet ready. This is obviously a made-up comment here, but the way I grade my guys is on 2 things: is on assignment and technique. So for them, they obviously see the play call and see their number to identify what play we're running and who ran the ball. And next is their assignment. There's 1 or 3 things I'll give them. I'll either give them a 0 for that was good, you did your assignment, but nothing spectacular, nothing world beating, and also nothing that's detrimental to our assignment. They can get a plus, which means above average, you did something really well, and third being a minus. You did something below average, you did something that you didn't complete your assignment. So those are the 3 things that I'll give them feedback wise. They'll also be graded on technique. So same thing, plus 0, minus. And then lastly, we'll have a comment section where most of the time it's going to be more than great cut. All right, I'm a big feedback giver. Like I said, I want to give them as much as they can. All right, without clouding their mind. Using buzzwords that we use, communicating the way I communicate to them in meetings and in practice. All right, keeping it consistent and making sure they're hearing everything we've talked about through meetings and through practice and overemphasizing it right here. And the second column here, I'm telling my guys something I also like to talk about is, how are we going to expand our room? Where are we going with our room? How are we expanding our role on the team within our room? And then that shows up, probably the most on special teams. I take pride in having our guys on special teams. When I was at Vandy, our running back coach was our special teams coordinator. So we had, our starting running back, Ralph Webb, 5th-year senior, running down on kickoff and making plays, playing punt return, playing punt, doing everything he needed to do because, that was our culture inside of our room. So this second half of the sheet right here has to be earned, guys. We gotta earn that side of the sheet. It won't show up until we earn it, until we find another guy that's on the field and is putting in reps and doing a great job. So we got to earn that second half of the sheet. And like I said, I'm big on giving them feedback on what they put on tape. I tell them your tape's your resume. That's something that Derek Mason fed into us as as players at Vanderbilt. Understanding that you put something on tape every day. That's the only thing you're getting evaluated on right now. So make sure you put your best foot forward every time that film cuts on and you step on that grass. So last thing right here, and I'll get into some drill work. at all costs, I tell them this is the running back law we follow. There are 6 things that, if we can do these things well, we're going to be tremendous at running the football. That's what I'm telling them. So these are things I'm coaching every day. They're hearing these buzzwords every day, 24/7, 365. They're hearing these words. They're understanding exactly what it means. The first being be in combination with the offensive line, display consistent footwork, trust the quarterback and attack the track, maintain eye discipline, press the line of scrimmage, cut and be decisive. And if we can do those 6 things, guys, I feel like we have a really good chance, at our room doing some really special things. And something I wanted to hit on here, I'm a huge proponent of footwork out of the backfield, the detail of it and, the placement that it puts us in. So, I'm telling these guys, having your footwork, displaying your footwork at the beginning of the play is like making your bed in the morning. When you get up in the morning, you make your bed and you set a successful tempo for that day. And it applies the same way here with every play. Every play is a new day. We display consistent footwork every down, every snap, whatever's required of us. We're doing that perfectly. So we set the tempo of the play to where we're successful moving forward. A little bit of drill breakdown. So, I've kind of categorized my way of thinking in drill work. I've seen a lot from Minnesota's running back coach, Kenny Burns. He does a great job with their drill work. And, he inspired me to kind of categorize, my drill work, and lay it out on paper and really understand and show and be visible on what we expect, what we're looking for, and how to do the drill correctly. So, these are a couple drills I'll go through, and define each thing and give you a couple coaching points. Also provide, a drill for each category for you guys to see and kind of get a feel of what I'm doing, what I'm teaching, and how I'm trying to move forward with our guys. So, the first is a lateral cut drill. In other words, as a jump cut. All right. I define that by bringing both feet off the ground and moving laterally, all right, with our body inside our column. So that's a special buzzword I'll use is our column. So last season, I coached our safeties. I was brought in at East Central as a safeties coach, and I coached our safety. So I was fairly new to DB play. So I wasn't one of these experienced DB guys that has all the terminology. I'm steady learning, steady growing, and trying to put my guys in a position to be successful. And what I found is, a lot of our guys, they're really they like to overstride, they like to overreach, especially out of their transitions in our backfield. So, one day we get in meetings and I draw, a stick figure and a column around it. And, I'm trying to get them to understand the biomechanics of, when you step outside of this column, you put yourself in jeopardy. You give yourself less surface area on your foot to work off of. So that's something I came up with that I felt it really stick with my guys. It really sticks with the guys and how they understand, their biomechanics and where they need to place their feet and how they work their arm action, all that good stuff. A couple coaching points within these drills, mainly just looking at a jump cut. A couple coaching points is, we always want to keep our shoulders square. All right, so we have the potential to get back vertical now. All right. Slight body lean. I'm always looking at their body lean. I'm a huge proponent of pad level and body lean, and there's many ways. Like I said, every guy's subjective. All right, every guy's body lean is going to look a little bit different. All right, we want to make sure we put them in a position to where they're comfortable. All right, but it looks how we want it, and we have the biomechanics of chest over knees over toes, those type of things, and they understand it and they can display it. When told to. And then the last thing is that we want their weight under control. For first day of camp, I'll probably set this drill up and I'll tell them now, look, we're gonna go 50% through this drill, and I'll have a guy that goes and goes through 100%. And I love the effort now. I love the effort, but let's slow down. Let's control our weight. Let's understand how to move efficiently rather than like I said, a bull in a china shop running down the field, with no control. Like I said, I love what Coach Kenny Burns does at Minnesota. And one thing I heard him say is, the worst thing you can do as a running back with the jump cut is make it with space. So here in our L drill, we're emphasizing the jump cut, all right, keeping their shoulders square, pressing the bag, keeping their body lean, all right, and then they're going to accelerate and get back into that vertical seam, guys. I know a lot of you probably understand that vertical seam and how it plays out inside zone, but we get a lot of backside pursuit. from that zone. So we want to get back into that vertical seam that's created. We drew that backer up front side, and we want to get back into that seam we created by drawing him up and making him commit. And lastly, guys, I do want to talk about this is the finishes on my drill. You see cone B right there. You know, I'm huge on finishes, whether it be a pop-up, whether it be, you know, me at the end throwing something at them, me giving them a head read. There's so many different things you can do. But the biggest thing for me is getting my guys to react, to be natural, to react, and then we can coach up the rest. You know, there'll be some days, you know, I want to add to their toolbox. I want to continue adding, you know, whether that be, you know, just a stutter step, you know, whether it be a head and shoulder, like we're talking about striping them, whether it be a spin move, whatever it is, I want to teach them different finishes. So there'll be some days, you know, I'm telling them, I want you to make your own move. Make sure you press the bag, make sure you're tight off of it in your cuts. All right, but make your own move. Be creative. Work on things you don't feel comfortable working on. And it really helps us develop at the second and third level in our drills. And that's just the way we emphasize it. You know, you can do many different things. I've seen people throwing tennis balls up at their upper body, throwing bags at their lower, whether it be a shoot, whether it be a cone, just to make a head and shoulder on. You know, all that stuff I love. I want to mix it up. I want to keep a variety of finishes so they get comfortable. All right, accelerating and finishing on the second and third level. And this is something, you know, I also use at point A is their slide drop footwork. That's our inside zone footwork, making sure our shoulders are square, making sure we're tight inside our column. The next is our vertical step. A vertical step. Now, so you'll see here, they're just starting on the drill now. You know, they're going 2 and a hole through the bag, trying to keep their feet square, or trying to keep their shoulders square, trying to keep their shoulders and hips square, working through the bag, getting a head read off coach. And when they come off that bag, you'll see the numbers 1 and 2. You know, the first step is the first foot that's going to come out of that bag. All right, they're still going to be square, coming through those bags. Now, the vertical step comes into play on that second step. All right, just like if we were running a gap scheme, we're working downhill. All right, the windows in gap scheme are a lot tighter, are a lot quicker. They flash a lot faster. So we want to teach these guys, all right, not to overstride, not to cross over. All right, but when they see it, go take a vertical step into that gap now. So this is what we're teaching. You know, with vertical steps. You know, like I said, we're starting all different types of ways. We're finishing all different types of ways. There's many ways you can do this, even if it's from you want to take some off your guys' legs. You know, it's mid-season and they're starting to hurt. You know, start sedentary. You don't have to start with a head read and all that good stuff. Start sedentary, cut the yardage down, and make sure they're getting what they need. So going back to defining a vertical step, you know, I see it as picking 1 foot off the ground and my second step being vertical against, you know, my bodily momentum. A couple coaching points I have inside these drills, and you'll see that, you know, the side step is not the only thing we're working on here. We're working on, you know, pressing line scrimmage, getting a head read, finishing, all that good stuff. But the main point of this drill is, you know, to keep their shoulder square, stay inside their column, and, you know, don't reach, overstride, or crossover. Those are the 3 things that we're trying to prevent doing these vertical steps, you know, making sure they're preventing them from crossing over. So a couple of vertical cut drills. You know, in terms of vertical cut, you know, I see it as when we vertical cut, like an outside zone cut, I want them to take 3 steps to get their hips square. I think, you know, as a weight room guy, as a strength conditioning guy, this is something I've studied a little bit. You know, I put a lot of time into studying these vertical cuts and how we can, you know, give them cues to be more efficient cutters and be great out of their breaks and all that good stuff. So, you know, after studying here, a couple guys talk about it, I came up with this is the 3 steps is your plant foot, which is going to stop your momentum, your drive foot, which pushes your momentum to your target, and your third, your lock foot. All right, it locks your hips to your target. Your hips are now pointed directly at your target, and you've made 3 steps. All right, you got your hips turned, and now they're square to your target. So that's what I try to you know, teach and evaluate based off of when we look at our vertical cuts, our outside zone cuts. A couple coaching points, like I said, 3 steps to get our hips square. That's the most it should take. You know, that's the fluid way of doing it. That's the way we stay inside our column, right? And we want to maintain our pad level through our cut. You know, so many times we see a guy pop up before or after the cut, you know, whether he's going into the cut, he's putting the brakes on and popping up, or he's coming out of the cut and raising up right after that second step. All right, we want to make sure they stay, you know, at the same level. And here you can use a shoot. It's great. You know, use a shoot for their approach or for their finish. You you can cut this down. I think it's great for in season because I put about 3 yards in between these cones, and that's all we do. 3 yards, and that's enough for them to make sure they're accelerating with great pad level, and getting around that cone in 3 steps.
Coach, got a question here for you.
Go ahead, Coach.
It was asked how far or staggered are the cones for this drill? Oh, never mind.
3 yards. Yep. I usually do these, in an M shape. So this one right here will be about 5 yards from the start cone, or your start cone will be about 5 yards from your second cone in essence.
Cool. We're good.
Because like I said, the yardage, especially during season, we want to keep these guys fresh, man. We got ballers and we want to let them ball. So, how do we keep them fresh? How do we keep them mentally locked in? And how do we make sure, throughout the season, our outside zone cuts are still efficient and they're increasing in efficiency. And this is a great way to do it. I believe in this fully. I've seen it work. I've seen guys come out of one session doing this a lot more comfortable in their vertical cuts. The next is body control. All right. I'm going to talk about a power position is the position I want them in when we do body control drills. And that power position is knees bent. All right. We don't want them to bend over at the waist. We want their knees bent. All right. We want their spine in line, a slight body lean, and their eyes on their target. So that's huge when we talk about pad level and body control. We always want our eyes on our target. So within this, if you want to utilize reads, first couple of days it may be too early to utilize reads, whether it's giving them a number, hold something up, having them repeat it, whatever it be, them going through this drill. All right. The first thing I try to do is just make sure we have the basics, which is, creating and maintaining a power position to run behind pads through traffic. So here, a couple coaching points, like I said, every guy's power position looks different. The autonomy of all your guys, their bodies are going to be different. Their body mechanics are going to be different. Some legs are going to be longer. Some you're going to have your 5'8" backs, whatever it be. We want to make sure we find their comfortable power position. We have to be so subjective with each kid and make sure we understand exactly how they operate. I'm more of a subjective coach on not every kid is going to be the same. Not every kid is going to respond the same. Not every kid is going to learn the same. So we have to be efficient coaches and great coaches in terms of making sure each guy understands what we're trying to tell them, and that may be saying it a different way, rewording some of your verbiage, and that's what it takes if you want to make sure every guy in your room gets it, every guy's is on board with you, and every guy's moving forward as expected. A couple coaching points within these drills, just making sure they're under control is I want to control their body with their chest over knees and their knees over toes, staying right inside that column. Like I said, I want to control their body to create that power position, staying inside their column, just like I said. You're seeing here in this drill, I call this the live feet drill. We want to stay tight to the cone, all right, keep our feet as tight as we can, moving our feet, keeping them hot, staying right in that power position, all right, and keeping our pad level as we accelerate to the next cone. And we repeat, and then we also add a finish. You see, we accelerate, keep our body lean, and finish. All right, whatever that finish be, just like we talked about. Whether it be a cone, a pop-up. I've heard somebody pass this on to me. I can't exactly remember who it was, but it was 2 aspects of the finish. They can have a finesse finish or a physical finish. Those are the 2 types of finishes I try to classify, our finishes into, and make it simple for them. Make them understand, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish with our finish. Next being knee drive. Knee drive is huge. It's huge in traffic. It's huge in strength conditioning. Across the board, we want to make sure, they're controlling their hips, they're lifting their thighs, all right, and they're increasing their stride frequency. And what this does, telling them to lift through their thighs. A lot of guys, when you talk about knee drive, they want to reach their knee, right? They want to reach, they have a terrible shin angle. I want to tell them to lift their thighs, all right? It keeps that knee tight to them, all right? And when we're in a body lean, that's how we increase stride frequency. So, a couple coaching points here. There's many ways you can teach knee drive, but I want them to remain in their power position, all right, with slight body lean. I want to see quick turnover in their feet, all right, because if we're forcing them to bring their knees up, to drive through their thighs, now I want to see them put them back down, put force in the ground, all right, and quick turnover in their feet. And the biggest thing here, guys, is, I see a lot is, their eyes come straight down. When you put something bigger at their feet, more challenging, right down at their feet, their eyes want to follow. So we got to get them in a great habit early of making sure and trusting our feet and having confidence in what we're doing with our knee drive and how we're moving our feet, our turnover, and all that good stuff. In this drill right here, I took this drill directly from JMU. Like I said, I'm thankful for technology and the coaches that put things out. This is something I took. I use. I love to do it because one, we're emphasizing our shoulders being square. You've seen just about every drill we've tried to teach them, to keep their shoulders square, to keep their shoulders square. Now we're adding, the knee drive into it. All right, we still have the press the bag concept. All right, and they're working through knee driving through the bag, staying low. The biggest thing I want to see here, like I said, controlling their hips, making sure, their upper body isn't popping up, isn't bending down too much. Want to make sure it's staying right where it is. All right, slight body lean. All right, the whole way through, being consistent the whole way through and finishing tight off that bag, cone, whatever it be. And the last one being pad level drills. This is the last one I'm going to talk about. In terms of pad level, I want to see that power position. All right, I want to see their upper body close to parallel with the ground. Now, when they're running, this will happen. And it will be an effect, as speed picks up. And like I said, I want their knees bent more than the waist. This is huge. When you get under a chute, a lot of guys want to bend down right at the waist, all right, and lift their neck up. Guys, I want their spine in line. I want their spine completely in line, their head straight forward, all right, and bending at the knees, getting in a great athletic position, all right, ready to bend, hips coiled up, ready to throw. Like I said, a couple coaching points: knees bent, chest slightly leaning forward, and their eyes on target. This is it's very continuous throughout our drills as we're working on different things. We keep the same coaching points. All right, we want to see the same things. We want to see our backs being super efficient in the way they move, and ultimately, getting to where we want to be within our pad level. So that's all I got today, guys. I appreciate it. Coach Grandinetti, for having me on, man. It's it's a pleasure. It's an honor. I'm excited to share, what we do and how we do it, and my philosophies, man. It's been a great time. I'm always fired up to speak and share my knowledge.
No, awesome. That was awesome, Coach. Really appreciate that. And obviously, if any coaches have any questions, just hit that chat. And of course, coaches, all of his contact information is there to follow up. I know me personally, I'd love to see some of those drills that you were talking about before, just like on film. I think it would be kind of cool to see. But especially that 3-step drill, kind of intrigued by that. I coach receivers myself, so obviously, we handle a lot of footwork things and just different, and I like to break down certain cuts by steps and things like that. So I'd love to see how that works. I mean, it's cool how you can kind of, see how even different position groups do things and kind of incorporate it to your own stuff. And that's always been interesting for me. So I definitely love to check that out.
No doubt, man. And going back to what you're saying, like I talk about in the strength conditioning world, applying what we're doing, and we're teaching base within our squats and our hang cleans and our power cleans, and the base we teach, it directly applies to the way we're bending and the way we're moving,
Yep.
the posture we carry. It all directly applies, and I think it's cool to see, man. I think it's an art. It's special to see, and I'm a fanatic about it. I'm obsessed with strength conditioning and run game and all that good stuff.
Yeah, Coach, we might have to get you back on to do a little SNC talk, man.
Man, no doubt. I'd love to.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that for like next week or something.
Okay, let's do it. That's part of me that I kind of neglect. I think I love X's and O's just a little bit more. But I'm a huge proponent of strength conditioning world. Obviously, as a fullback, man, it's in my blood. It's my DNA.
Oh yeah, no, we'll definitely set that up. Question was here, Coach, if you're willing to share the presentation and any film on those drills.
I'd love to. I'll share this presentation if you'll just reach out to me through email. I'll just reply with that, with the presentation, and a way of getting video on it. I think I do have a PowerPoint with video on it. I've struggled to keep it from crashing with so much video on it, but I will. Whether that just be one clip, I'll try to get that to you guys. Whoever reaches out and ask, I'll get you something, to have a visual.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm about to email you myself, Coach. I'll send you our prospect list as well.
Good deal. And all you guys, please do that. Like I said, we're looking to evaluate talent. It's hard to get out-of-state talent here. Like I said, we get 10 guys, but everybody knows they have good players, and we're looking for good players. So. Whether it's a fit or not, it doesn't always work. But you know, I'm willing to evaluate and make sure that that's the answer first.
No, 100%, Coach. I really appreciate it. Like I said, we'll talk after this, and we'll set something up. But once again, to all the coaches who took the time out to jump in here, man, thank you guys. And then of course, Coach McElwain for taking the time out to put the presentation together and help us get better. It was really good. Like I said, I'm about to email you now because I would like to see those drills, man. That's good stuff. Really good
Okay,
stuff.
yeah, good deal. I'd love to share with anybody if anybody has any questions or concerns, whatever it be. Just want to chop it up, man. I'm always open. My phone lines, it's always open. I'm like I said, I'm always open. I love to make new connections. Make new coaching friends and increase the value of this community, of the coaching community.
Preach, man.